Hello, beautiful people, and welcome to this episode of Two Girls, One Doc.
One Doc.
It's your girl, BD.
It's Forens, the foodie.
And we are back.
We're back.
With another episode for ya.
I'm
drinking today.
As am I.
I'm drinking water.
Oh, look at the turntables turning.
The turntables have turned with so much ice in here because I am hot as hell right now. And I'm trying to stay hydrated. And do you know what it is? And Forens is going to roll her eyes, but recently, I've really seen the benefits of water. Water is an elite liquid. It's crazy because so many issues that you have and people say, oh, just drink water. And it turns out that when you actually drink the water, you're fine. All is well. All is right with the world.
It only took you 31 years to get there, but you got there in the end.
And here I am. And that's what that matters.
That's all that matters. I am drinking, I'll grab my drink. I'm drinking the M&S Cosmo.
Oh, I like that one.
Yeah, it has 2 measures of vodka in it, so...
You know, I'm not really a vodka babe, but I do like a Cosmo.
Yeah, let me open this up.
Ooh. Not the ASMR. Not the asthma. Okay, you're so uncouth. You even put it in a glass.
Why would I put it in glass? So then that's more dishes to do.
Do you know what scares me about cans? Because I remember seeing something about how there was a dead rat in a Red Bull. Do you remember that?
Oh yeah.
That story. It scares me with juice and stuff. I mean, I still drink out of cans, but it scares me because I'm like, what if?
No, I hear you, but we're here now. I'm drinking out of the can, so all will be well.
Is it nice? You haven't even told us if you like it. My water's delightful.
Yeah, I mean, I've had it. Do you know what's really annoying me about this can? Okay, I don't know if you guys can see.
They can, because you can show them.
Yeah.
Wait, no, your hand is in the way.
No.
I thought you were showing me the front of the can. I wanted to see what it looks like so I know what to look for in M&S.
It's Cosmo.
Okay. Brand new, innit?
What annoys me about this is that the mouth bit is not directly at the...
in line.
Wait,
where is it?
To the side.
Tilt it.
What do you mean?
Tilt it so I can see where the mouth bit is.
The mouth bit is here.
Oh yeah, that's annoying. Yeah, that's annoying. Maybe it's a mistake.
Like that pisses me off.
Maybe it's a mistake.
Shit like that pisses me off.
Anyway, you like it or no?
No, I like it. I mean, I've had it, okay. So I wouldn't complain. I like it.
Right. Well, what documentary are we doing today?
We are doing the Can't Mom. The mom who can't.
It's so funny you did it in an American accent because it's notably a British story. When I saw the mum, the M-U-M, I said, get in England. Get in. Come on. You think it's only the Americans that scam? No. We too, we can scam.
Yeah, we can. So, do you know what? I'll reserve all comments to the end. The documentary basically opens up with this pastry chef and he's chefing away. And there was not one thing he was making that I wouldn't have put in my mouth for real.
It looked good, didn't it? But I do think that pastry chefs are like artistes.
Oh yeah, 100%. Like that guy on TikTok, the French one that makes guy. Yeah, all sorts. Yeah, they are definitely artists.
Yeah.
And basically we meet who, I mean, from early on you can assume is his partner, and they talk about how they met and how they started their business and just falling in love and how they're opposite. Like the guy was like, she is really fit and she eats really clean. I'm like steak and cheese like kind of guy. So opposites attract. And I was like, oh, that's cute.
It was very cute. It was cute.
Yeah, it's obvious that he knows he's punching as he should. So
yeah, and it's been like a very genuine, loving connection.
So we basically learned that the guy's name is Graham, and he was born in an army base in Germany, similar to J. Cole.
I thought you were going to say similar to me, and I was like, sis, you were born in an army base.
I was born in Lagos, Nigeria.
I know, that's why I was so confused.
And then was put into care for 2 years before his dad and his stepmom came to get him, and then he lived with them. And like obviously, like from the beginning, you can kind of tell there's something about the dad and whatever, but we don't get into that at this stage.
Yeah.
So one day at this point he's basically said like, look, he never knew his mum, you know, and it kind of was a gaping hole for him. And one day him and his babe are looking for his certificate, and her name is Hannah, so sorry, Heather. Not Hannah, Heather. And they are like clearing things out, and they find his birth certificate, and they basically see the mum's name on it, because he knows nothing about his mum at this point in time. And she's like, okay, let's try and find her online. And I kind of get it, because I have a relative that, from my dad's side, that basically like, it really bothers me that we don't know anything about this person. And he's kind of like, my dad should be the one spearheading this, and he's just like, I have enough relatives as it is, I'm not really fussed. And I'm like, nah, I really want to know who this person is. Like, they live in this country. But why? I just don't like not knowing things. Yeah, but is it about like, oh, I like, this is my family member, I want to get to know them, like, what if, you know, this is a connection? Or is it kind of like, oh, I just need to know kind of thing, like, I just want to find them? It's like, I need to know. I mean, obviously if a really positive connection comes out of it, fine, but I mean, I have a lot of family that I'm really close to and I love, so it's not like I'm lacking in family. I don't feel like a gaping hole in my life because I don't know much about this person, but it's more just like, I kind of just feel like I want to know. I'm curious, like, what life did they live and all of this. I mean, I get it. Like, even in Graham's case, like, it's your mum. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, like, mum is so different. Like, you've grown up. Like, yeah, it's like it's such a. And the thing is, he's 45 at the time this all happened. So you can go through life, you can achieve things, you can like live your life, do what you want to do, but there's always going to be, like you said, like a void. There's always going to be like, oh, my mum, like, it's almost a question of like, who am I, where did I come from, kind of thing. Yeah, because even if you don't get along with your parents, like, you know from whence you came. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Like, you kind of get why your mannerisms are the same way. If someone asks you, oh, any diabetes in the family, you know what the answer is. You can answer. Do you know what I mean? Things like that. So crazy. Yeah, sad. So basically they try to find her, there's no luck, and Heather, they just kind of leave it. Then Heather finds out that she's pregnant. So obviously they're really, really happy. They're, you know, this is COVID, it's lockdown. We see like clips of the baby shower. And for context, Graham, I believe, is biracial. Yeah. I mean, there's black in there somewhere. Yeah, I mean, to me, looking at him, I just thought he was like maybe like a black man. Yeah. Like, he doesn't, but yeah, he's definitely black. Heather is like a white woman. She's from New Zealand. Yeah, everything will kind of come together towards the end. So anyways, one day Graham receives this email. So this is after they find out Heather's pregnant. He receives this email from his mother, and she is calling herself, or she's called Dion, and she's claiming to be, like I just said, his mum. And he's like, this is suspicious. So he asks her questions that it's like, I guess in a sense only your mother would know, like, okay, what are my middle names? And she's like, I didn't give him one. Trick question, I didn't give him one. Yeah, unless he later on in life got one. Like, she had all the answers to all the questions. He did the right thing. Like, he didn't say, oh, you're my mum, great, love this. Like, he literally he interrogated her. Yeah. And this is when you start to deep that something is amiss with his dad, because I was watching this and I was like, if someone emailed me and they were like, oh, I'm a long lost auntie or something like that, first thing I'm doing is I'm going to my dad and being like, do you know this person? Wagwan. Like, but for the fact that he couldn't go to his dad and be like, is this my mum? It's the fact that he had to find his birth certificate and then find out from there that you're like, okay, cool, like, whatever's going on with you and dad, like, you guys are not cool, or he didn't tell you, he did. It's I'm not even to be that person, but like, it's the fact that it's your mum that you didn't have. Like, it's not like, oh, you know, your mum was like, oh, I don't know who your dad is. It's like, your dad's not going to be like, I don't know who your mum is. Like, he knows who your mum is. Do you get what I mean? Like, so and he basically also says within this as well that, I've lost my train of thought there. Anyways, so Dion was basically staying in Liverpool and asks Graham and Heather to come and see her, like, you know, let's meet. Yeah. So he says that once he sees her, there's like an instant bond. Like, the way you bond with, like, he basically described as like the skin to skin contact a baby has with its mum, and you feel that bond from birth. There's like an instant bond. And I always wonder, like, if I didn't know like my mum or my dad or a sibling, if I met them, would I feel instant kinship? I don't actually think so. I don't think so. I think that a lot of what happens in the documentary is kind of like, cool, I give him a blight because
it's such a void that you want to be filled. Such a void that you want to be filled. I feel like you want this thing so much, and then like you're getting it, and you want it. It's like you're wishing it to be true, or wishing it to be everything that you thought it would be. I think that like, if this was, I don't know, someone who had emailed him for maybe like a business opportunity or something, that he probably would have approached it with a lot more skepticism. I think
but
that
he needed something on an emotional level, and
Yeah.
that's why we got where we are. I completely agree. Because even like with my sisters, we always say like, sisters by birth, friends by choice. Like, they're my soulmates and my best friends, but that was worked at. That was a choice we all made, that look, we're going to be close, we put in the effort, we see each other, we talk every day, we do all of those things. So I don't actually believe in this whole thing of like, once you see a family member you feel this instant connection. But also I've never experienced,
that's what I'm saying, you'll never know, because you don't have that. Unless the family member that you're looking for, if you then meet them and you're like, oh my goodness, like I just know. Do you see what I mean? But that's the only way. That's the only. It's not. There's no controlled experiment that we can do to be like, oh, maybe.
But anyways, he says he feels like,
and who are we to tell him that he didn't?
Yeah,
do you know what I mean?
100%. I believe him. I think
he felt
feels.
that. I think he definitely felt that. Yeah.
So then, basically, Dion alludes to the fact whilst they're there that like he was forcibly taken from her, and like, how do I best describe what Dion looks like? I thought Dion was like a Jamaican woman. Really,
she looks Samoan to me.
I thought she was Jamaican at first. I thought she was like Caribbean, because you know, like, especially
light.
They're light, and
mixed.
I thought she was Caribbean. I
thought Graham was Caribbean when I first saw him.
I thought he was Caribbean as well, but I mean, we don't know what his dad is. His dad could be Caribbean, but I thought he was just a Caribbean man. I also thought that his mum was Caribbean, like. And I think sometimes like Samoan and Caribbean,
or like Guyanese maybe. Yeah,
they can look similar anyways. So like, I literally just thought that was a Caribbean woman. So my husband was watching this again. This was another documentary I watched with my husband, and I really enjoy watching it with him, because obviously he does not do this podcast, so he watches it as like solely as a consumer, not thinking about narrating this to anyone else. And his thoughts and commentary they're just so interesting to me. But anyways, I'll let you know what he said later. But yeah, so as I was watching it, I was just like, I thought she was a Caribbean woman.
Yeah.
So anyways, they meet, and then everything is great, and she pulls him into a room, and she's basically like, look, I have cancer and I have 6 months left to live. And I just think, if I was going to, spoiler alert, lie about a illness, I wouldn't lie about cancer. Not because of karma and all those things. I mean, yes, there's that, but also because I kind of feel like it's like you have to prove so many things. Like, there's chemo. You're meant to
prove so many things.
I do think you
do.
do.
You have to, because these people keep lying about cancer and they're not proving anything.
Feeling this cocktail.
So what? 2 sips in, but people keep lying about cancer, and it's like, what are they proving? Do you get what I mean?
Because people around them are dumb. If I came to you today and I was like, oh, I have cancer, of course in the media you're going to believe me.
Yeah, but exactly.
But after months of me not
dying,
losing weight,
6 months.
Not even dying.
Yeah, she actually looked. She looked fed. You know, back in the day, it's like if you were fat, it was a sign of wealth. It's like you have money for food to nourish your body.
I'm going to talk about her looks.
She was getting bigger and bigger and bigger.
I'm going to talk to you about her looks later. But like, literally, I feel like if after like 6 months you don't notice the weight loss that usually is, because with chemo, like my husband is a doctor, and he was telling me that like the thing with chemo is like, it's great if you like can go into remission, like maybe if it's like stage 1, stage 2, stage 3, but when you start getting to like stage 4,
which is like terminal,
like sometimes it can quicken your like death, because it basically kills the cells.
Everyone's got
good
to go.
And bad. Everyone's got to go.
It's like all the good cells are just casualty. The bad cells are gone.
And so then from there you can easily get sick. Like, it just exposes you to so much. So it's kind of like, it's only really not worth it. I don't say worth it, but it only helps.
It's more beneficial.
Yeah, exactly. So because it's killing the cells, you look sick. I've never seen anyone who is going through treatment that looks fine.
Well, yeah.
So I feel like, maybe if I came and said it to you today, you'd believe it. But after a few months of seeing me look exactly the same way I look, you'd probably be like, girl, are you okay? Like, I
would probably be like, and even if you don't want to come on like, oh, you're lying, you could come on the whole like, oh, maybe they misdiagnosed you because you actually look alright. Like, let's go and check.
Fine. Like, let's go check.
Yeah.
Like, something, but you would be like, something is amiss.
Yeah.
So I don't know why I would lie about some sort of.
I would do Lyme
obscure
disease, because that one is
yeah.
non-specific and there's so many different things, and is it this, is it that? That's what I would lie about.
Literally.
Because I don't know. But the thing is, it's his mum, innit? So whatever. But I just feel like maybe I'm just too skeptical of a person, and also have never been in this situation, so don't know what I would do.
I have comments on that whole thing, but when we get to, I agree with you. 100% aligned.
Because
so we don't see, like, we see like photos and videos of her, and then we hear like little excerpts of her voice as well.
I like how they do that, because basically you can't really understand what she's saying. Well, you can understand what she's saying, but they highlight what she's saying, not in terms of like the captions, like the closed captions, but they have like text on the screen, like as she's talking, the text appears, and then I like that they did that.
I love that, but don't you think she sounds Caribbean?
No, she sounds like Asian. But again, well, no, not again. Anyway, listen. Either way, like, she could be lying about where she's from, because there was Malaysia, I heard Singapore, there was Brunei, there was bare places, fam. So she could be, she's every woman, it's all in her, fam. Like.
So Graham decided that he's going to spend as much time with her as possible, because obviously she has 6 months to live. And so he starts to learn more about her, obviously wanting to make up for lost time. And do you know what? Sorry, one second.
Understandable.
Do you know what? I think that for me, I think Graham is a very lovely person. I wouldn't take that away from him, because I would be bitter and angry.
Yeah, I think, but again, it's the void, right?
Yeah,
I feel
you're
like
just thinking about filling it,
and it's the hope. It's the hope. I feel like there's some people, and if this has been your situation and you want to talk about it, let us know. But I feel like there's some people where it's like, this chapter has been closed. I don't care. Like with your dad, right? This doesn't mean a thing to me. It's whatever. I've gotten over it. I've healed. It's whatever. The fact that he saw it on her birth certificate, the name on his birth certificate, and went looking. Like he still wanted something from it, so he wasn't at a place where he was like, even now I still think that he still, you know, is open to whatever, but I don't know, man.
So anyways, she basically says, look, she has business all over the world, she sells fruit, she does palm oil, she does this, she has businesses in Asia.
She's like 70 years old, by the way, like 70.
She's 80.
Or 80, yeah.
Yeah. And she speaks 18 languages. That much is true. He hears her on the phone speaking different languages.
18, how does he know? If he doesn't speak those languages, how do you know that we're not doing Simlish?
I mean, I guess.
Like, what? So, nothing is anything.
I guess so. So she had, so she has fruit farm. She shows him video of so many people that she's helped. So all of it seems, I guess, from his perspective, to be legit. So they obviously, as they're in Liverpool at this point, in a lovely hotel, she's living it up, and she decides to come to London to obviously spend some time with him. And she stays in this 5-star hotel, and she racks up like crazy bills, and he's like, right, like, this is mad, my mum is rich.
She must have it, yeah. Because imagine, I'm sorry, yeah, sorry to pause, but imagine, one, no mother, dad shit, you know, foster this, that, cool, living your life. Mum not just comes back into your life, wow, I'm complete, this void has been filled. Mum has money. If someone came to me now and said, I'm your real father, or I'm your real mother, and I have money, I would say, bye mum and dad, lovely to have you. It was nice
knowing you.
However, this is where I belong. Do you know what I mean?
I
imagine.
Asked my mum the other day, I asked both my parents, is there any hope of anyone knocking on my door and telling me, long lost relative, didn't know you in life, but I've left this in your will? My dad was like, no. And the way your mum is hitting that treadmill, you've got a long time to wait for your inheritance from us. And I was just like, ciao. I mean, obviously, I want to put off getting that inheritance for as long as possible, because I love my parents. But I would give anything to have some distant relative I never knew anything. I'd give anything to have a distant relative I never knew anything about, that everybody hated, so they just hid them and never spoke about them. But that person
this is
on
why
their deathbed
This is why you're going to go and find your your relative, in case they got money.
Literally.
So I was waiting for someone to come and look for me. You were first. Here's all the money that I have.
Here's all the money. Oh my
You might as well. Listen, what have you got to lose but a bit of time?
Nothing. So, anyways, at this point, she decides she's going to stay in London, spend some more time with them. All is well, blah, 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 blah. So, she basically says she's wealthy from two different streams. One is from
multiple
her
streams
businesses. One is from her businesses. She's a very savvy businesswoman. And then the other is that she is the illegitimate child of a sultan in Brunei.
Mm-hmm.
And can I just say something? moving forward when it comes to like scams and stuff like that. I just feel as a rule of thumb, when stories start to get incredulous, realistically they are incredulous. Most people are just normal people.
When I used to watch Hustle on BBC, shout out if you used to watch that show, loved it, yeah. They used to say, if it seems too good to be true, it probably is. Okay, it probably is. And like, I think that, like, you know, some things, crazy things do happen. Like sometimes, you know, like, fact is, or life imitates art, whatever the saying is, yeah. Truth is stranger than fiction, yeah. But like, how likely is it that is going to be you? It's going to be your truth that's stranger than fiction.
And also the thing as well about it is just that if she really was this person, why did she wait 45 years to find you? Like, if she has all these means, like, even if you were forcibly taken from her, she obviously has enough money and power to have located you. She could have found you. She waited all this time.
And this is another thing, is that, like, obviously we don't know all of Graham's feelings at any one time, right? It's a documentary. However, to me, I feel like, first of all, you've come to find me 45, whatever. Fine. Maybe I'm happy. I feel loved. I'm whatever. Cool. Then you come and tell me that you have money. I'm going to be looking at you like, you raggedy bitch. So you, all this time...
That's what I was thinking.
That's what I'd be like, all this time, you could have come to find me. You didn't. Why now?
It would have been better if you told me you were a crackhead.
Yeah.
That never had a
if
pot
you came
to
to me
piss in.
destitute and you're asking me for money, that would be, that would make more sense to me.
Be, and I think
and that's literally what happened. What happened is she basically came to him asking him for money. Essentially, if we wrap this whole thing up, you came to me asking for money. So, but you dressed yourself up as if you me, knowing that you disappointed me for 45 years of my life.
I just feel like
insane?
People need
and
to
are you even his mum?
People need to understand that most people are just normal people. That is, I want you guys all, if there's one thing you take away from this documentary, most people are normal
But the problem with that is that then means that some people are not normal people. And
those some people are not going to come in contact with you.
They are not going to email you,
And I'm so sorry,
babe.
I'm so sorry to say, that is the truth. Like, I am comfortable, I'm in a good financial situation, but the reality of the situation is I'm not going to come in contact with a multi-millionaire that wants to lavish me.
Claiming to be my mother.
It just isn't. So you need to understand, like, when you get loved scammed, this scammed and that person, the story they're telling you, it is a lie. Because that if they were really that person, they would not be messaging you. And if they were related to you, they would have found you a long time ago. 2 + 2 oftentimes equals 4.
It's 4.
It's never
and I
6.
feel like if it even feels like it's like 4.5, we should run. Do you know what I mean?
Anyways, so they go to the Dorchester, which is a lovely hotel.
Lavish.
And everyone knows who his mum is. So he's just like, yeah, like the story's making sense because she walked in there, people know who she is.
It's such a shame.
Nothing is until you see it on some sort of reputable paper, nothing is anything.
Listen, nothing is anything. But the thing is, like, of all the scams that we've covered, of all the documentaries that we've watched, of all the stories that we've heard, this is the one that I would give a bly the most, okay? Because, cool, she comes to you, you know, I'm your mum, I'm rich. Not only is it I'm your mum, I'm rich, you're displaying wealth. And not only that, but you literally are in these spaces and people know you. That tells me that 1, you can afford to be here, and 2, you've been here so many times that people recognize you. You're not like Anna Delvey pretending to be whatever. Like, people are cool with you.
I wouldn't say it goes far as saying I give it a bly. What I would say is that I understand believing it. That's about as much as
that's a bly.
No,
I think that like.
But the actions that follow, I don't.
No, of course. Listen, no one is saying that they're Team Graham over here. Yeah, because as the documentary progresses, I want to grab him by the neck and be like, "Wake up!" Honestly, and I feel bad for Heather, but we'll get there.
Heather is the victim in this.
Honestly.
So at this point, she's like, look, I've been gone for however many years, 40-something years. I want to make up. I love you so much. Kisses, hugs, whatever. And so she's like, I'm going to buy you gifts. She's lavishing him with gifts. And she's like, it's not enough. I need to buy you a car.
This is a distraction. Because when she said, oh, it's been 45 years, she should have said, why was it 45 years, actually? Why didn't you come and find me?
Yeah, that is a bigger question. So she decides to buy him a Range Rover, and she's like, that's not enough. She buys Heather a BMW because she's like, you need to put my grandchild in a comfortable car. And she's going to Rolls Royce, she's going to this, she's going to that. And he asks the manager at Rolls Royce, like, do you know her? And he's like, yeah, she bought 2 Phantoms from me the other day. And he's like, okay, this is adding up. Fine.
Is everyone in on it, or what is going on? Like,
I'll tell you my theory at the end. So Heather has her baby,
yes.
and it's a boy.
Mm-hmm.
And then moments after giving birth, and she has what is described as a difficult birth.
Yeah.
And moments after giving birth to her son, Dion is like, she needs support. She sends a picture that she's like,
she's dying, remember?
Blood.
She's dying.
Yeah.
Yeah, remember everyone, she's dying.
And he's like, okay, what can I do? Because my mum needs me, but my girl needs me. What am I going to do? And he's like, okay, you know what? It would just make sense if everyone's under one roof and I could help everyone. So he tells Dion, like, move in with us.
Hold on a second. I need to change my battery.
So he's like, okay, cool. Everyone knows her. Heather has the baby, and then she moves in. So Dion starts to change towards Heather.
Yeah.
Like, we hear little clips of her basically like trying to be controlling about how Heather raises the boy and her access to her grandson. And he's look, do you know what? Like, you've got an Asian mother who thinks she knows best, and a new mother who is quite opinionated. And the thing I want to scream and say is that you don't have an Asian mother who thinks she knows best, because she did not raise you.
Exactly.
What you have is your biological...
She quite honestly didn't raise you. Like,
literally, you have your birth mother, and that is it. Like, she's your birth mother. She should be in a very... lucky to be here. I'm just happy to be involved.
Exactly. She should be on her tiptoes and like, I'm just chilling on the sidelines.
She shouldn't give any motherly advice, because you didn't, unless there are some siblings that he didn't mention, maybe, I don't know. But
even still, you weren't a mother to me.
Yeah, so don't...
This wasn't a difficult decision. Like, your partner who's been with you for this whole time, who supported you through before all this and all the issues you had because of this, and has grown and given birth to your child, and now all of a sudden you're confused. Oh, my mum. This is a woman you just met, babe. Let's be so serious.
And this is the thing. Like, fundamentally, I'm sorry, but men are stupid.
He was so dumb.
This documentary just showed me men are dumb. That was my conclusion. I literally was side-eyeing my husband the whole time.
Except for Juan. Juan was the only man there with sense.
No, he wasn't.
Yeah, he
but
was.
We'll talk about that. No, we'll get to why I think he's equally as stupid.
Oh, because he wasn't a good friend. Anyway, carry on.
Yeah. So, basically, he's just there, piggy in the middle, like a fool.
And he put himself in the middle because there was no need. For me, that would piss me off so much, because it's like, look, hey, this is my family, actually. So if you've got a problem with her and you don't want to be here, you can leave.
Yeah, you can leave. Like, it's really literally not like if my mom or my husband, like, these are moms who have been mothers to their kids. You are a random woman that I met 2 weeks ago. And also, he didn't even stop to think, oh, she has nowhere else to stay. Like, what was her plan before she reconnected with you?
Exactly.
Who would she have gone to?
Because he invited her to stay. It wasn't like she was begging to stay.
I can't stand men. Anyways, so basically, Heather's like, okay, this is fishy as hell. 2 months after giving birth, Dion's like, look, I'm going to come into a lot of money. I've got 4 months to live, or however many months she is on the countdown now. I think you should go to Switzerland so I can hand everything over to you. You're going to come into a lot of money. And he's like, yeah, sure, cool, let's go. So Graham and his mom go to Switzerland, and they're staying in this expensive hotel. And she's doing this because she wants to edge Heather out. She's clocking that Heather will clock her game. So she's trying to edge her out.
Yeah.
So they go to Switzerland. They're staying in this expensive hotel in Zurich. He invites his friend Juan to come and join them for a drink. Juan meets his mum. There's a banker there. And Juan's like, yeah, like, I've never seen, like, Graham like this. He's like a kid. She's feeding him cake. She's doing this. She's doing that. Like, he feels like a child again, which I understand the regression, because you've missed out on all these years. Like, I had all these years with my mum where she, obviously I don't remember being breastfed, but she breastfed me. She, you know, I have core memories of being my mum's handbag. Anywhere she went, she was the first of all her friends to have kids, so anywhere she went, I went. All her friends basically raised me. Like, I was the baby of the group. Like, I have all those core memories of my mother mothering me and making those memories. So I understand the regression into a child, because you want to almost...
you having everything that you've always wanted. She's giving you what you've wanted. It's like, yeah.
And so she does this thing where she really makes herself close to... She makes you feel like you are special and close to her. So she calls everyone her grandson. She calls Juan her grandson, which I feel like it's not normal. Like, if I met someone today, even if you were related to me and I haven't known you my whole life, I'm not going to immediately try to create a kinship.
I think that's a culture thing. You wouldn't try, because even like with Nigerian culture, how many like big mummy, like there's big mummies everywhere. Do you know what I mean? It's like you meet someone and it's like, okay, cool, that's your auntie. Like it's a culture thing. And also like we have to remember that she is an elderly woman, yeah.
But it's not just the calling of the name, it's the expectations that come with it that everyone just seems okay with.
Yeah, but I think that I don't know that they're okay with it, because I feel like everybody kind of feels a bit like, oh, okay, like they justify it to themselves and do it. But it's like a sense of entitlement that I do think comes with, one, it's the culture, because I can very much see Nigerians moving the way that she moved, and also with her age. Like you get to an age where they just don't give a fuck. Like, what are you gonna do? You're gonna beat me up? I'm an 8-year-old. What are you gonna do?
That's true.
It's like they command a certain level of respect, because it's like, all right, cool, you're an old woman. Not only that, but like you're an old woman who's gonna help me. Of course, I'm gonna just like, cool, let me just do it now, so that it's fine.
So they meet with this banker in Zurich who we never see his face, we never know his name, but basically he's the banker of some major bank. They don't disclose the bank, and he's like, yeah, you can come and look at the documents after
it's like
hours.
A private bank, private room.
It's a private bank. You need like a minimum of 30 million in your account to have an account there. And it's so funny because I used to work in banking, and I remember them saying like people like Oprah, all of these rich people, they don't bank the way we bank.
Of course not. Impossible.
Like, they don't just have a normal account. They have these private accounts where you definitely need a minimum to even open an account. What more? Like, they don't have like cash in their thing. It's so interesting. Like, I've always wanted I've always wanted to be wealthy enough to have a safety deposit box, because it's just like, wow, like I have the coins. Like, there's something that's so precious I wouldn't even keep it
at home.
I mean, the closest thing I have to that is I have gold coins, but it's not enough. I need jewels.
Is it in a safety deposit box?
It is in my mum's
some people have
locked cabinets.
Some people have safety deposit boxes and they put trinkets or things that aren't even worth that much. But to be rich enough to have the access to the safety deposit box to put whatever you want in there.
People have documents.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
But you need to be rich enough to. What am I going to put in the safety deposit box? My spare key, like, please. So they go after hours, they're in a private room, and he's like, yeah, it's a bit strange, no one's there, but whatever. So they're having all these chats, but there's nothing that's signed. Luckily, Graham doesn't sign anything. Nothing is confirmed.
There's nothing to sign, but he doesn't sign anything.
But the whole premise of this trip was to sign over wealth.
Oh, shit.
So
I'm sorry, crack on, man. This is why I don't drink water. Now my water bottle has leaked on my sofa because I forgot to shut it. If this was Mogi, this wouldn't have happened.
Girl, bye. So the conversations they're having around the money are hundreds of millions. So Graham is like, rah, like, I'm actually set for life. And he's thinking, yeah, do you know what? This would be good because I'm going to be, like, good. Like, my son's going to be good. And it's not enough that Dion is, like, saying all these things. She's like to Zwan, oh, you're my grandson. Let me go find you a house. They're going and viewing properties. And they're looking at huge homes, and Juan is like, yeah, like this is too much for me. Like I'm actually alright. But she's like, fine, if you don't want the house, I'll give you 7 million. And my husband and I looked at each other and we burst out laughing, because the thing is, if you are Nigerian, you know people with money, right? Nigerians know people with stupid money. There is no one that is this rich that gives out money,
because they wouldn't be. No, but remember, there's the caveat of her dying soon, so it's kind of like, I can't take this money with me, so I might as well give you this thing.
Even if she was dying tomorrow and she knew for sure that was the end of her life, rich people don't move like this.
Yeah, that's why they're rich.
That's why they're rich. Some of the stingiest people I actually know are millionaires. Some of the people I know that if I needed a pot to piss in, they would not give it to me. They have millions in the bank. Rich people are not generous. There are some rich people that are. Some of them do stuff for show, but the reason they stay wealthy is because they conserve their cash and they are stringent down to the penny. Like, they are so meticulous with their money. Nobody, even if you were dying, if they're dying, they would rather withdraw all the cash, bury themselves with it, than give out money like this. Even if they write you in their will. How many wealthy people do you know have written their kids out of their will? Bill Gates, apparently Jeff Bezos. Like, Elon Musk has written out how many of his kids have. These people don't do stuff like this.
Yeah.
Because if she was moving like this her whole life, she wouldn't be rich. So it's mad. someone you just met, you want to buy a house.
Yeah.
Be so for
and
real.
I think one was right to be like, nah, because sometimes in life, like, you just have to look at it and be like, I don't need all this, like, and what am I gonna? It's like selling my soul. Like, what are you gonna want for this?
Exactly.
What are you gonna want?
That's
after?
my dad always used to tell me, like, when people give you stuff, ask yourself, what do you? Because everything is transactional. What do they want in return? There are very few people who will give you and just give of themselves freely. Like, when we're growing up, he never used to like, oh, accepting this, unless he had a very close relationship with that person and he knew that, oh, he'd sewn into that friend's life and they're so. But other than that, he's like, nah, because people want something that it.
I mean, even in this situation, like, Juan said no to the house, but she still asked him for
Why
something.
would you say yes?
No, but she still asked him for something. So it's like, imagine if he had said yes. Obviously, he would have never got the house anyway. So, like, you know, that's
spoiler.
Yeah, that's that. Yeah.
So basically, Heather is now going through the bank accounts and stuff like this, and I thank God that Heather even had access.
Yeah.
Because there are some women that don't have access.
Oh, and then
I'm watching Potomac now, and I'm at the bit where the Black Bill Gates, he has his tax issues.
Yeah.
And Karen was like, I knew nothing about it. I didn't have.
But even in a recent season, Wendy was just like, yeah, like, I don't know who our home insurance or anything is. I don't know any of that stuff. And I'm not saying that Eddie would do her wrong or anything, but it's just like, babes, you are an adult, you're grown, you own this house, or you live in this house. Like, babe, you should be. There's just certain things you should be aware of, or at least know where to find
wrong. Yeah, because if something happens to him, you are screwed. Where do you start?
I remember I had a patient one time, and she was just, you know, my parents are all old, so she was just talking about how, like, her husband died, and obviously there's the grief of you losing your husband after all these decades being together. But she was like, he always used to change, like, the light bulbs, and, like, I didn't know how to change the light bulbs, and, like, one day the light went out, and I just, like, burst out crying because I was like, he would have done that, and he's not here to do that. I'm not saying that you have to do everything in the house and your man shouldn't do anything, but I'm just saying there's certain things that happen where it's like, just be aware of the things, right?
Yeah.
Because it makes it, like you said, it may not be that Eddie divorces her and does whatever, but maybe he is injured, or maybe something happens to him and he's no longer able to do those things.
I agree.
Just to be aware, like, it's so irresponsible.
So
Heather wasn't irresponsible, is what we're saying.
Yeah. So she finds out that £25,000 has gone out of the account, and it's to help Dion cover her expenses, because she's basically told Graham that she didn't have access to her funds during COVID. And can I just say another thing? Even if you go as far as you meet someone who promises you heaven and earth, and you do not heed to the advice I gave you at the beginning, which is you're not going to meet this kind of person, I need you guys to understand something. Rich people always have access to funds. And even if they don't have access to their funds, they have better people to ask than you.
Absolutely.
So please do not ever in your life give someone money who is promising, or who has said that they're rich and they're going to pay
or who
back.
appears to be.
The most I can do is I'll cover dinner, because I know that even if it will bother me that I lose that money, it's not going to break the bank.
But the thing is, even if you're saying covering dinner, we're not going to Gaucho. These men are going, they're doing £350 bottles of wine, and doing. I'm not covering that dinner. I'm so sorry about it. I would say, babe, let's go Nando's. You don't want to go Nando's?
Everyone has that. But the thing is, I understand the dinner bits, because the bill is coming and then she's saying, what are you going to do? You're going to run out of the restaurant.
But the thing is, if you don't have it, you don't have it. If you go to dinner now and someone says to you, okay, cool, this bill is £30,000, are you telling me that you're going to be like, all right, cool, I'm going into my savings now, I'm going to give you no, you're not. You're not.
No, of course I don't have it. But what I'm saying is that, like, I mean, okay, fair enough. £30,000 crazy.
If you don't have it, you actually don't have it. That's what I'm saying. That's why I'm like looking at Graham like, oh, maybe somewhere, somehow you had it, because people aren't scamming. I mean, people aren't doing extra luxurious scams like this for the poor, the downtrodden. Maybe they scam them in other ways. But they're not.
You would be. So people take out. I mean, to be fair, cards, take out loans, sell their houses. It's not that they have it.
It's true.
People are just
they find
stupid. It. And do you know what it is as well? Like, I was watching Love Rats on Netflix, and you actually get to a point where you've invested so much money that even admitting to yourself that this could not be real is almost more heartbreaking than coming out and actually being
just
like,
taking the L for what it is.
You have to keep going in hopes that you're gonna recoup your loss, or it's gonna be worth it. So they are in Switzerland. They've extended the trip because paperwork isn't ready.
It was meant to be 4 days, and now it's like 2 months they're there.
Yeah,
and you have a newborn. Sorry, I would lose it. Do you know what? I would have been in New Zealand by the time he got back.
I was about to say, I would pack myself. I wouldn't even tell you I was leaving, and
I would have been in New.
You would
Heather
come
did
back
well.
and you never
the house
would
would
have
be
seen
empty.
me. You never would have seen me.
I would have been in New Zealand before he got back, and then I just stopped answering your calls. Are you insane? Are you insane? I've had a traumatic birth.
For a woman you've just met.
Insane.
Which is essentially what
and
she
now
is.
if Heather comes to say, this woman, she's not even your mum, fam, like, you just met her. Now I'm the bad guy.
So they're spending all this money, and basically when Juan is left alone with her, she basically asks him for money and says, don't tell Graham. And this is why I said, he's like, yeah, that's when some alarm bells went off in his head, blah, blah, blah. And I need people to understand, I know that friendship means different things to different people. And I also know that culturally, friendship is different to certain cultures than other people. Like, especially like in African culture, we see friends as like, oh yeah, like, there's a kinship, that's your this, your that. But I need you to understand, if you have a friend that watches you walk into fire and does not say anything, you're better off without that friend. How you can sit there and this woman asks you for money, that this man was not raised with this woman, so she is essentially a stranger. That blood birth, whatever, doesn't
your
mean
friendship is tighter and closer. That bond is closer and better
than what he has with this woman.
You've demonstrated more love for him over the however many years you've been friends than this woman.
And you sit there and you don't say anything to him.
Do you know what?
I think are not someone that needs to be
that's
your friend.
insane. I think that his whole thing was, I know that he really loved her, his mum, and my thing is that, like, no one's saying that you should say, you dumb bitch. You can't. You see, she's scamming. All you need
to say is, "Oh, bro, I'm making you aware that your mum asked for money. Maybe check if she's good."
Yeah,
that would have been enough. A word
because
is
my loyalty
is
to you, my friend, and not to this random woman that I and you just met.
I need you people to get rid of these friends that watch you walk into fire. Anyways, at this point, Greg keeps extending the trip. And for all Juan has his reservations, he's still there drinking the bottles, £300 bottle of wine, which is why I said he's a dumb bitch as well.
He benefited from the thing. What did he pay? Nothing. He didn't lose no money.
I think that Graham was none the wiser. I think that Juan was none the wiser. I just think he didn't have the money to lend her. And that's why I think in hindsight, it's easy to say, oh, there were alarm bells. I don't think he actually at the time had them. I think he's just as stupid as Graham. So at this point, she's in Switzerland. She's staying in a really nice hotel. She starts to meet people in the lobby, and she basically randomly starts calling them grandson. And then one couple, she decides to invest in their business. And basically, the woman is saying that in Asian culture, you are meant to, when someone obviously does something for you or invests, you're meant to do for them. So they spend a lot of money on her, getting her gifts, spending tens of thousands of pounds, and it's all kind of like payback for the investment she's going to make into their business. I understand that culturally that is what's expected. Just like in this culture in UK, we take people out for drinks and do this. But you wait until that money hits your account. You wait until the investment is made. Why would you do this? Because I can walk in there and say, I'm going to invest 50 million into your business.
Give me everything.
And that's enough for you to take me out and about.
Even if you're going to take her out, or thank you even for saying that you're going to invest. Why are we going from 0 to 10,000? Why can't we do a cheeky £500 here or something affordable? You guys are like investing in an imaginary potential investment, and then you're getting nothing. So you reaped nothing. You sowed everything, you reaped nothing.
Heather is starting to smell her out. Everything is becoming heightened now. Dion and Graham are obviously in this hotel together. Every 2 days, Dion is saying she's sick. She's gonna unalive herself. She doesn't want to live anymore. And Heather is like, what the fuck is going on? So at this point, Graham is like, I need to go home to my kid and my girl. And Heather was basically manipulating him, Dion wouldn't let him leave, and he basically had to fight to leave for Christmas. Bear in mind, this is his son's first Christmas.
Dion's manipulating him. Heather is at home like, hey, when are you coming back? When are you coming back? When are you coming back? I'm telling you, his first Christmas would have been in New Zealand, babe. I would have been out of there. Are you insane? That's what I'm saying. Heather's a real one, man, because she really tried. She really tried. If Heather had hit him over the head with a frying pan or with a rolling pin, whatever the pastry chef man used, and left and fled, I would have been on her side. But she didn't.
Women, please don't be a fool for men, because there's no benefit. So they had decided to spend Christmas in New Zealand. After Christmas, they were going to go to New Zealand to introduce the baby.
And what's his name?
Graham
actually does come. He comes on New Year's Eve. I'm sorry,
he comes
Christmas
on
Eve.
Christmas Eve. He spends Christmas with them, and then they were meant to fly to New Zealand. And then at this point, Dion is like, I'm so sick.
Sorry, before that, during Christmas, on Christmas Day, they have a fight. Heather and Graham have a fight because Heather's basically like, what the fuck? This is fucking weird. Something is off. She basically says to him, this is weird. This woman is weird. Something's going on. And he's in denial about it, and they have like an actual fight.
Yeah,
that's important.
And it just shows how, and also I also took this as a lesson, that as women, sometimes the best thing actually to do is just leave, because they obviously, the producers asked both of them about this Christmas, and Graham is like, I think it was a good Christmas. I cooked lots of food, like we ate, it was great. And she was like, that was the worst Christmas ever. And it's like, sometimes you're talking to a man, you're expressing yourself, you're thinking that you're having a conversation, but it obviously doesn't land, because how you can have such different perceptions
of the same event.
Mad. And that's why you just say sometimes you're actually wasting your fucking breath, because it's not landing.
I was so happy when I saw the end of this episode.
Yeah, me too. So basically they're meant to go to New Zealand. Graham's like, my mum is dying, like what if I go and I can't get back in time? This is not your mum in the sense of, oh mummy, this is your mum in the sense of she gave birth to you and that is it.
And also the whole her buying them cars and stuff, he now feels indebted to her. He now feels indebted to someone who has not done anything for him besides buy these cars. It's insane. I feel like, sometimes you want to kind of sit on the fence and go, oh, I see both sides. If I was Heather, I'd be like, there is only one side. The family that you have created, or
the person you don't even know.
This woman who fractured your family. The choice is simple, and it's like, you have to choose.
Unfortunately, you have to choose.
He should have had to choose before, but he said he was able to win with, oh, everybody come and live in the house with me. Fine. You won that battle. You went to New Zealand. That was a choice. You chose her then. Sorry, Switzerland, you chose her then. Now I'm saying, let's go to New Zealand. You're choosing her again. Cool. That's your family, right? Cool. Be with your family then. Are you insane?
So she's saying she's gonna die, and Heather's like, do you know what, Deuces, I'm going to New Zealand. I need to be around people, and I get it. I need to be around people that love me. I need to be around people that are gonna feed my soul.
I'm a first-time mom. I have a young child. My partner is not there. Like, I can't do this on my own. I mean, this country is not even mine. I'm telling you, when I lived in Manchester for a bit, that's not even down. That's literally down the road, yeah. And I remember feeling like I do not feel like myself. Like, I want to be around my friends, my people, my family. Like, and when I come to London, it's like, oh, I feel like myself.
I can breathe. I literally could not imagine having a baby in a different country to like my parents and not I don't even want to think about it. That would be my 13th reason. So we meet Pang, and he is a middleman for some cancer treatment company that Dion was investing in, and basically
Victim 82.
Literally Asian culture, we will, you're investing this money, we will give you a gift. And what they were going to do is give her this like exclusive treatment that was only available in Switzerland to help her, obviously, as she is a cancer patient. And she's like, no, I'm dying anyways. It's not worth it. Instead, give me 50K, which is basically, I guess, the cash cost of the treatment. And I will distribute that to other patients. There's no need wasting this treatment on me. And so they do.
Someone with cancer, they said, don't give me the treatment. Give me the money.
No, but I understand it. If you're terminal and you're old anyways,
yeah, but why would I understand? Don't give me the treatment, but why give me the money? Exactly.
Thank you.
Why give me the money?
I say donate in my name.
If you're gonna die anyway, why give me the? What are you gonna do with that money in that time?
She said she was giving this cancer, but
then why couldn't they just do that? Why do we need you? Why are you here?
Donate in my name. You don't need to give it to me if you're really about that. So, anyways, at this point, Dion comes back to London, and she's staying in this like hoity-toity apartment. And she invites all of Graham's friends over. And this is really weird, because like, if my dad, I try to put this in context, my dad doesn't go about like, we might be doing something and he's like, oh, you can invite your friends if you want, but he's not gonna be like, oh, invite all your, like, I don't know how to explain it. It was just weird. It was kind of like, it was giving Amy in Mean Girls, the mum, where she was like, you want anything, condoms? Like, just, why are you trying to I don't know. It was weird. So at this point, we start to learn a bit about Graham's childhood, and he doesn't talk a lot about it, but he basically says he had a really abusive childhood and a really abusive dad, and he doesn't talk to his dad. And they're basically trying to say that this is why there was a massive void, which is what we're saying. Heather feels like that was a reason there was a void. Graham feels the same. And at this point, Heather is going through finances and she's learning that Graham has gotten multiple credit cards at the behest of his mother. And he's now like basically £300,000 down the hole.
Oh my God.
I actually felt physically
This is reason enough to leave.
sick.
This is actually reason enough to leave.
I felt like there was someone sat on my chest when I had that figure.
Yeah.
Where do you even, like, I don't know if I would go on in life. Where do you begin to pull yourself out of that hole? Because the thing about being in debt as well,
the snowball effect isn't going to help that one, boy.
the thing about being in debt as well is that, like, it's so crippling. Everything in this world is based off of finance.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you basically can't function in this society without finance. This is not Nigeria. So you need to finance, but your credit will be bad because you're in debt. So it's like you can't even live. And then even if you work and work and work, unless you're going to take all your salary, even if you take all your salary to pay off,
how then do you live in? Yeah.
So you're going to accrue more debt just trying to live. Hey, Jesus.
And for what? You can't even see the fruits of your debt.
That is what I was saying to my husband. I was saying to my husband that if someone stole money from you and they used it to buy a house, you can see physically where that, even if you made a bad business deal, at least you were trying to better yourself. Mm-hmm. This debt went to dumb shit,
frivolous.
Drinking it, you shut it out.
And not even of your own accord, because if you were going to get into debt, you wouldn't have chosen that hotel. You wouldn't have chosen that wine.
You wouldn't have fucking because what was happening as well was that the car she had promised, this is why men are so annoying, and this is why it's like you cannot be equally yoked to men, because they will leave you in the desert with no water and they will not piss on you if you're on fire. Like, why would you? He said to his wife, oh, she bought us cars. Fine, I understand that. I would be like, great, free car. But what she actually did was she put down a deposit for the cars, which when you're leasing a car, you put down a deposit. Fine. Then she was like, well, I don't really know where this relationship is going. Understandable, which is logically what a lot of rich people do. I don't want to buy you out a car outright, and then in the end we end up not being
it's not understandable to me, because it's like nobody asked you to bring up the car in the first place. You brought it up. So if you were going to bring it up, you were going to buy me a car, then just buy the car. Why are you paying me on finance? Because I wouldn't have decided to do that.
I wouldn't have to. So then you decided, even if you say you want to finance it in your name. That's what people do. When these really talk about, you say, oh, is the car even in your name? That's what they were asking Quad. Is that Rolls Royce in your name? Is the house in your name? Why would you finance a car in my name? Then every month I'm waiting for you to transfer me the funds.
It doesn't make any sense. That's why with Graham, I'm like, why did you sign that? Are you dumb? Are you stupid? If I was Heather, oh my God.
And the thing is that it's not even about, oh, you lied to me. It's actually about at the point where it's like, oh, okay, you're just stupid.
I can't trust your judgment.
So I can't trust your judgment.
You can't lead this home.
Need to be in. We can't be, because you're stupid.
Yeah,
I can't.
You can't.
I can't even sleep at night and trust that, like, you wouldn't do something dumb.
Yeah.
So this is what. So all this debt is like, they're paying off cars that I would not have picked a Range Rover for myself. So why am I paying off?
Do you think that is only when Dion came into the picture that Graham discovered cars? No. If he wanted to have that car, if he could afford that car, he would have had that car.
So basically, at this point, Heather is like, what the fuck is going on in the House of Combs? She basically talks with Juan because her and Graham's relationship is breaking down. She can't get through to him. And she's like, look, Graham is being scammed. I need you to talk to him. Meanwhile, Dion is telling others, because she needs to cover her lies with other people. So she's telling other people that Graham is terrible. He's stolen my money. He's a terrible son. He treats me terribly. He won't support me even though I'm sick. And everyone feels sorry for her. Did she tell them,
oh, I only met him 3 weeks ago? Did she tell them that part?
They are sending her money to help her because she said that he's emptied out the accounts. And Heather starts to see that Dion has multiple aliases. So she's looking this woman up, she's investigating. And her stories, she has conflicting birth certificates with conflicting dates, with conflicting fathers. Nothing about her is honest. And so Graham has iced Heather out at this point. And he decides to go back to Zurich with Dion, and Juan tries to talk to him at this point. And he's like, look, something in the water ain't clean. Yep. Your mum has lied. She's asked me for money. And Graham starts to realize that, oh, like, I'm actually drowning in debt. And we hear the
Who do you think that's because of? Waste man.
We hear the conversation between Dion and Graham, and she's basically sticking to the story. He's like, so I just want to understand, my grandfather is the whatever
Sultan
of
of
Brunei,
Brunei.
and my uncle is the current sultan. She's like, yes, my mum slept with this and that and the third, and then had me, and da da da. And he's like, girl, be so for real. And Pang is getting stressed. Pang says that he feels like he cannot breathe.
He can't. How can you breathe? How can you breathe?
He's starting to realize that he gave all this money. He's like 100k down, and he's never going to get that back. So he writes to Brunei, and I get it, you're desperate at this point. And they're basically saying, like, look, we feel your pain. So sorry, but we do not know this woman. She has no affiliation with the royal family, so we can't help. And I said 100k, but actually it's 150k.
Yeah.
At this point, Pang's like, do you know what? I'm going to reach out to Graham because I've heard all these terrible things about him. But at this point, we need to have a conversation. He reaches out to Graham, and Graham says that he's mortified because he starts to realize that when they came back to London and they were staying in like near Tower Bridge and everything, it was Pang's money that they were spending.
Yep.
And he's getting emotional. And she's basically saying, Pang's basically saying, like, look, she's told me all these terrible things about you, and she's asking me for money because you cleared out her bank accounts. And Graham's like, what the fuck is this shit? So we're rounding up. We're getting to the end of the documentary.
God, I was so incensed.
And Graham was like, I want a DNA test, because he had mentioned this in the beginning, and she was like, no need for DNA. You either trust me or you don't. And so he went along with the ride.
Which, again, when I saw this, I was like, babe.
Stupid.
Like,
Stupid.
That's the very least you could. This is what I'm saying. You're not skeptical enough for me. Like, I have skepticism in abundance. I can give you some. Have some.
I mean, in fairness to him, he did say that, look, I just wanted to belong. So
I get that, but that explains the lack of skepticism. Like, we understand it, but we just think it's dumb.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate.
And the most shocking thing about this documentary is they do the DNA test, and it comes back that she's his mother.
The whole time I thought that it's going to be the gag she's not even his mum. That's what I
kept saying. I kept saying that as well, and I think somehow it makes it worse because it's 100% like
worse.
You would do this to your own child.
Of course you would, because he's not her child. Like, okay, cool, she popped him out, but like, she has no ties to you. You mean nothing to, and also it just seems like she's been doing this, yeah. No one just wakes up at 80 years old and becomes a scammer, yeah. So it's like you just were a mark. And look at, like, judging by the sounds of it and that, things were getting tricky for you, and you just needed someone else. So she probably was waiting to cash in on this.
Because basically what he says towards the end is that he remembers seeing her ticket to the UK, and it was a return to Bangkok. The only reason she didn't get on that return to Bangkok was because of COVID. Mm-hmm. So he basically starts to realize that had COVID not happened, she would have just gone back. Yeah. She never had this big intention of finding him. Yep. She just needed a cash cow because she was stuck in London. Yep. Simple. Crazy. So basically, Graham is saying that the last time he's seen his mother is when they do the DNA test. I mean, spoiler alert, we don't know if she's alive, if she's dead, where she is. And after that, Dion disappears. And Heather starts to find out that Dion has been scamming all over the world. Like, she's talking to various people that have been scammed by her. Hundreds, thousands, some millions of pounds. There are articles about her doing things as petty as shoplifting.
See the newspaper articles.
It's just insane. And then at the end of the documentary, we see Graham having a FaceTime call with Dion where she, I don't know, apologise is giving it a bit more credit.
She doesn't give a fuck.
She doesn't give a fuck. And at the end, she's basically like, look, this is who I am.
I did what I did. I'm not changing.
And it ends with Heather leaving. She's left Graham.
Yeah.
They realised that she's never going to come back.
They didn't have any interviews together. So, do you know what? I actually thought they were still together for a while. I
thought they were together.
And as stuff started to happen, I was like, oh, okay. And then, like, they reveal almost like, yeah, they're not together. She went to New Zealand. She never came back.
She stayed, which, great. I hope she's found the real love of her life that isn't a fool.
Yep.
And Graham is like, yeah, he's sad, but he knows that his son is being... I think, great, because basically he's sad, but he knows his son is being well taken of and he's surrounded by love. And the impression I get is that Graham isn't very present in his son's life.
That's what it seemed like. But you know what? I thought about this and I was like, you have a child with someone and that someone moves abroad. Like, what do? Do you then also move abroad to be with your child?
But this is what I say, and this is why I'm going to say what I'm going to say. I think Graham has a lot of issues that he needs to work through, or he needed to work through before he procreated. And maybe he was doing fine, but this particular situation set him back.
It would set anyone back, really.
If when I was born in a separate country to where my dad lived, because my mum was in Nigeria, my dad was in England. Long story, but whatever. That's why I was born in Nigeria. And my dad, despite how broke he was at the time, would come as much. He was like, I did not have a pot to piss in. He would come to see his child. He said the day he found out I was born, he wept. Like, he would come to see me as often as possible, send things back. Like, he maintained as best a relationship, bearing in mind there was no FaceTime, there was no this, as best a relationship as he could with his child, knowing that he fought tooth and nail to get me and my mum over to England to live with him. And I say all this to say, if you want to be a parent, you will be a parent. Graham kind of gives the vibes that he has a lot of shit. The fact he did all this stuff, let's remove the fact you gave her money. Because, okay, you just want to be part, you want to belong. Great. You went to Switzerland for months on end when you just had a baby, in the most important months of that baby's life. If anything had happened to Heather whilst you were in Switzerland, that child would have had no one. He is not equipped to be anyone's father.
He's not had any example of what a good parent is. He's never seen it,
which is rightfully so.
And he doesn't know how to. But also, I just feel like it's common sense. Like, you
say, yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Like,
I guess why am I begging you to come and see your child? Even if it's me, why am I begging you to come and see your child?
But I think we say it's common sense coming from a place of we've seen it. So for us, it's common sense. Maybe really, if you've got a dad that's abusive and your mum's a fucking scammer, maybe you really don't know better.
Yeah. And I guess for Graham, it was him chasing what he's wanted rather than looking at what he has.
Exactly, which is stupid. But yeah, guys, that was basically the end of the documentary. We don't really know much about where Dion is right now, or if she's alive, or if
Did you look it up?
No, or even her real age. I think I had seen enough at that point.
Yeah.
And I started to see, I went out after that, and then I saw an old lady, and I was like, oh my gosh, she's that Dion. I started to see her everywhere, and I was just like, you know what? I don't need...
But now it's time for our segment where we focus on something during the documentary that may not be criminal, but we definitely consider to be a crime. Have you got one?
Yes, it's Dion's whole appearance. There was nothing about her appearance that gave wealthy.
You don't think?
Nothing.
It's because she's old. It's because she's old.
No, it's not because she's old. And do you know why it's not? Even my husband and I were saying this. We were like, this woman, he literally said, this woman looks like the kind of woman you see when you go to Liverpool Street Market, that buys... And there's nothing wrong with this kind of woman. She just does not look wealthy, because I know older, wealthy women. And he said it immediately. He said, look at the hat she's wearing. It was when she was wearing the Prada bucket hair. He was like, this... She gave those aunties that come from like fresh from Nigeria, then go back home to visit, and they're wearing all the things they think they should be wearing to show that they've made it. Like, she when I saw her immediately, I just thought, oh, like, this is just a normal older lady that's lived in London her whole life. Nothing about her gave wealth.
We've already discussed in terms of the emotional reasons why maybe what's his name, whatever. Yeah, but I think what we also need to discuss is that, like, Dion had levels of audacity unseen or unknown to me,
I guess.
Yeah, and I think that audacity will take you far. And I don't say that to say that we should all here listening, go and scam, but I'm saying that whatever it is that we want to do in this life, yeah, you have this idea you've been wanting to do. Oh, you want to apply to this job, you just should have the audacity.
Be audacious.
Because look at Dion, look how she never faced any criminal consequences, by the way. So she lived la vida loca, yeah, and she has all the memories and all the pictures and things. She's not been in the jail.
Yeah.
The real crime, I think, was the fact that in order to prove that she really had this cancer, she used red food colouring to pretend that she had blood in her pee. I just think to myself, what are we doing? What is going on? What's the purpose? What's the meaning?
Nothing is anything. Nothing is anything.
But yeah, that was the documentary. Do you want to watch it? Watch it if you want, and then you can see what Dion looks like. And also, Heather, if you're out there, if you're listening, shout out you. I hope that you are happy. You so much. I hope that you are living your best life, and I hope your son is happy, healthy, and does not feel a void of any kind. Graham, really, really sorry that this happened to you. But I feel like
get therapy.
I feel like he'll be better from this, and he'll be better moving forward. So it's a shame it happened, but hopefully it wasn't all in vain. What are we doing next? Wait, have you seen Finders Keepers?
Is it the one about...
I did a TikTok about it ages ago. I told you to watch it, but I don't know if you did because I wanted to cover it.
Is it the one about like where there's a convent and kids are being abused?
No.
Okay, then maybe not.
Great. Okay. So I don't know. Do you want to introduce your ideas to people or?
Yeah. So we decided that it would be fun for one of us to watch a documentary the other person has never watched, and narrate it, and that person is not going to have a clue. Well, not going to have a clue, but is not actually going to know what the documentary is about, and just listen, and obviously ask questions because you won't know what it's about. So next week
we're going to try that.
BD will be leading with this documentary that I have not watched.
I'm going to put the trailer anyway so that you guys can know what it's about. But then maybe you don't want to know
I'll
what it's about.
check tonight.
I don't think you have watched it. But then don't check because then you'll know what it's about.
Okay, fine.
So just don't check. And if it so happens that you know what it's about, then you just join in and it can be a normal episode. But we'll see how it goes anyway. In the meantime, between time, you can find us everywhere. 2 Girls 1 Doc, 2 Girls 1 Doc podcast on TikTok. There may have been some technical difficulties. Maybe I put this in the beginning. There may be some technical difficulties because my battery died in the beginning, and sometimes now my memory card does this thing where, like, if my battery dies, it just doesn't save it as a .mp4. It saves it, or .mov. It saves it as .dat, and then I can't access it. If anyone knows what that's about, let me know. It's never happened to me before until I got this camera. So it may be that actually you don't see anything for a while, but then you'll see us. So just persevere, and you can see this beautiful face.
We're popping up.
Absolutely. But yeah, that's that. Let me put this off before the camera dies. Okay, bye.
Bye.
And what's the problem there?
I got a human foot.
Have a what?
A human foot. And it's plumb nasty, got me grossed out.
I'd seen the grill and ended up buying it. And I opened the grill up, and there's a foot, 5 toes and 5 toenails. I decided to keep it.
The Smoker Grill is now a tourist attraction.
I can't believe. Who is this guy? That's my leg.
He lost his leg 3 years ago, and that's just one hurdle life has thrown at him.
I've been shot, run over by a state dump truck, electrocuted. I've been through a lot.
An unbelievable character, isn't he?
A gentleman told me today I was a household name in Hollywood, California.
Everybody around here knows him as Footman.
Some folks just call me Foot for short.
It is a freak show, no question.
It's a funny story, but it's born of tragedy.
I lost my leg in a plane crash, and I lost my father.
When I was a kid, I made a wish. One day I might be a movie star.
He likes the spotlight. It's all he thinks about. It's just took him over.
After the crash, they send you home with a can full of Oxycontin, and nobody says anything about the addiction. That's what about killed me. And I would have just kept on doing what I was doing. It's really all I had was that leg.
If he can hang on to this leg and keep it in this world, then that's his dad.
This leg has given him a purpose.
There must have been 50 cameras clicking and flashing. None of that had ever happened before in my life, and that's something you'll never forget, The
battle tonight is just who does that leg belong to?
I got proof, evidence.
He actually thought this was his big break.
As bizarre as it all is, we can't move forward until there's an ending for this leg.
It's a win-win-win. If you're just winning or win-winning, that's just winning or win-winning. But when you're win-win-winning, you're win-win-winning.